So guys, if you saw my last video, I went over 7 really good solo drop spots for you guys in this Chapter 2 remix season. In today's video, I'm going to be going over 5 trio drop spots that I believe you guys can really utilize this season in order to pop off and do well in the upcoming tournaments. Also, be sure to stay tuned for a tournament overview video coming out really soon, along with some really fun content for this chapter because I'm very excited. But without wasting any more time, let's get right into the 5 best trio drop spots in this Chapter 2 remix season. Alright guys, so the first split is actually going to be these houses over by the north side of the map. These are going to be pretty close to Pleasant Park in the Sweaty Sands area. These are going to have a lot of really good access points to the water, to other POIs. Like I said, Pleasant Park and Sweaty Sands are some options, but of course you guys can easily rotate over towards Craggy Cliffs area. You can rotate towards the center of the map fairly quickly from here, and the main reason I really like this POI and this general area to land in for trios is because of how many houses there are. For example, you can land here, one trio partner can then land there, and another one can land over there, and then also there are 2 other houses. There's that red one, there's the blue one, so you guys are going to have plenty of loot in not that big of an area, along with tons of materials from these trees and bushes in the area. There's going to be bricks around the area as well. Metal is a bit tougher. I'd recommend you rotate to a named POI for that. However, in general, this is a really solid area to land. Now, some big benefits, like I mentioned before, is going to be the water, and fishing is once again huge this season. And another big benefit as well is the lighthouse. So if you guys pull zone, for example, obviously in this game I did it, but if you pull zone, you can rotate over towards the lighthouse and get some extra loot. On top of that, because these houses do have so many chests, so many floor spawns, so much loot, you're almost guaranteed to have pretty solid loot by the time you leave here. Full health, full shield, of course, that's going to be expected. This was actually a drop spot that I went over in my first ever drop spots video on the channel. So seriously guys, this place has a really big place in my heart. I believe that you should land here in trios. If you're contested, which is going to most likely happen if you guys are landing here in a competitive setting, if you're contested, either I'll try to land in the same 2 houses, so maybe those 2, maybe these 2, try to land on the same side roughly of this area, or I'll land on the same house depending if you're contested by 1 or more teams. So if you're contested by more than 1 team, I'd recommend you all land on the same house. If you're contested by just 1 team, maybe just split it up. You guys land over there and they can land on these other 3 houses over here. Kind of just be smart about it. You guys will win the off-spawn fight if you know how to fight in this general area. You guys should definitely do some 3v3 realistics practice and creative because as you can see, this is a pretty realistic terrain area that you guys can possibly encounter in one of those maps. So I just genuinely think this is one of the best low-key trio drop spots. Definitely consider landing here. So guys, now we're landing at another classic POI. This is going to be the Orchard. In my opinion, this is one of the best Chapter 2 POIs just because of how much loot it has in such a small amount of area. Obviously, people are going to be contesting this area because it is very close to major POIs like Frenzy Farm, Steamy Stacks, but I still think it's a great POI for people to land at. It has tons of materials. You guys have access to cars. You have access to pretty much everything you need at this POI. And like I said, it's going to be pretty central, so rotation really won't be too difficult here. I actually landed here for the Chapter 2 Season 6 trio FNCS and Cash Cups during that season. Personally, I believe that this is the best spot to land if you guys are looking to land an unnamed POI for trios because it's so central and it's also really easy to play here. Literally, the POI is divided up into 3 parts. As you guys can see right here, it's divided up into a house, of course, that I'm landing at right now. There's going to be the barn, and then there's going to be that store over there. So literally what you guys can do if you're uncontested is each person in the trio lands at each one of these spots. But if you're contested, I'd recommend you guys try to land on the house because the house has the most natural materials, the most chests, and in general it's going to have the best loot for you guys as a trio. Something underrated about this POI is the slurp truck that's really close by. If I build up a little bit right here, you guys can actually see it on the map. If you guys are looking to save shield, what you can do is one of the trio members can land over at the slurp truck, make sure that nobody's pushing it, and then you guys can all rotate over. You guys can farm the slurp truck, get free shield, and then rotate back over to this Orchard POI in order to continue looting up. Obviously, a big benefit is going to be the amount of materials you guys can get from this POI. Of course, there's going to be apples that fall, so if you guys take any white damage for whatever reason, you can easily re-kit on that by eating all these apples, eating all of the stuff, all the vegetables in the area. A big reason that I really like Chapter 2 and the map around it was because POIs like this don't really exist in the game anymore. This is a very simple POI. There's no fancy sort of, tech. There's no freaky designs. It's just basic Fortnite designs like houses, fences, basic things to farm, just good floor spawns, pretty much good at everything you guys can need. But then, of course, it's also in a really good spot in the map. So a POI like this is definitely a great idea if you guys are looking to land somewhere in trios. There's also going to be a vending machine. And like I said before, a really easy way to rotate out of here is use the cars that you guys have. There's going to be cars in the area. You can use this truck. You guys can easily rotate over to Frenzy if you guys want to rotate with a car from there. All the benefits of this POI are very, very good. So once again, a great unnamed POI for you guys to land at, and you are most likely to be contested, so if you are, land on the same place. I'd recommend the house. Now guys, we have another absolute classic POI, really great for trios. This is going to be Camp Cod. This is probably the place from Chapter 2 that I personally missed the most, because I actually landed here for all of Chapter 2 Season 5 trios. This place is obviously going to be separated into 3 areas. There's going to be the areas of sort of this barn area, this metal factory right here, the house, and then there's going to be this sort of dock area right there. You guys are obviously near the ocean, so you have access to fishing, cars, whatever else it is that you guys need, you have access to. But a big benefit of this POI is the vast amount of metal you can get from an area like this. You guys can land at this sort of scrapyard, barn area. You can easily farm all of the metal. There's going to be tons of metal objects, as you guys can see outside right here. You and your trio should be able to get up to 555 completely. And then of course another big benefit is the vast amount of area that this POI covers and how you guys can land here. If you're uncontested, it's easy to loot, so one of you guys all land at the 3 different spots. And if you are contested, it's also easy to loot as well. I'd recommend, if you guys are contested, if possible, you guys try to take the house. But if you're not able to take the house, then try to land one person here, one person there, because then you guys can kind of corner these people. You can squish them into the backside of this island. However, the really big thing about Camp COD that I love so much in general is just the vast amount of loot that it has. I believe that Camp COD has around 15 to 20 chests. I don't actually know the exact number, but it is so many chests for such a small amount of area. You guys can get such good loot so quickly. If you land here, you're not going to be low on ammo, mats, anything. You're going to be pretty much stacked on everything you guys need. So seriously, Camp COD is a fantastic POI. You guys have so many different options of what to do. If you guys want to actually tank some storm damage, you can as well, because there's a campfire right here. You guys have the medkits you guys can get. There's another campfire over there you guys can use. In general, Camp COD's fantastic. You guys have a boat for rotation. Like I said, you can fish. And something that's big that a bunch of people tend to overlook is the amount of brick you can get as well. You can get so much brick from this whole house right here. You can also get brick from the rocks around the island. And like I said, there's tons of metal. In my opinion, this is probably one of the best unnamed trio POIs of all time. Obviously, the Orchard's great as well, but in my opinion, this is great. The only downside is that you are kind of far from the center of the map. Actually, you're very far from the center of the map. But in my opinion, since you have a boat, since you have a car nearby, in these areas like this gas station, like in these areas around here, you're going to be able to rotate fairly quickly, fairly efficiently. And I just genuinely think that Camp COD's a very solid POI that a lot of teams should consider landing at, especially because it's such a great place to land if you guys are just getting used to brand new trios. You guys can divvy up the drop spot very easily. You guys can land at the 3 different spots, and as a result, you can learn how to play with a new trio very effectively. Now guys, I want to talk to you about this next POI from the air. This is going to be the Cami split area. This POI is a very, very big, expansive land, so it's going to be tough for me to actually show you all on the ground. As you can see right here, we have the bridge, we have this lake right here, we have this gas station, and then we also have this military base. Basically, what you guys can do is find out 3 of these places that you guys want to land and then split it as a trio. I'd recommend for you guys, one of you lands here, over at the military base, one of you lands at the gas station, and then one of you lands at the bridge. This will give you guys easy access to Frenzy Farm if you need it. It'll give you good access to the Central Agency POI and then also Lazy Lake. And also, these places are going to have tons of materials, metal obviously from here, and of course there's going to be access to cars from the gas station, and then once again metal from the bridge. Just to show you guys an example, I'm going to be landing right at this army POI kind of right here. It's going to be the military base, just because I can rotate easily to the other ones from landing here at first. So of course, if you guys land here, it's going to be a big expensive land, but the amount of loot in this place is actually more than most of the named POIs on this map. There's going to be almost 40 chests that you guys have access to in this vast expansive land. Obviously, the lake can also be part of this POI. It just depends on how you want to split it. So guys, of course, if you don't want to split it in the way that I described before, you can split it whatever way you feel is fit. I just personally believe that's the way that most players are going to want to split it. But of course, when you guys are done here, you can easily rotate over to the gas station as your secondary place to go. This is going to be pretty close by, so this is not too much of a threat. However, you need to understand that if you guys are landing in that split area, one of you at the bridge, one of you at the military base, and one of you at the gas station, the person at the bridge is going to be fairly far away. As you can see, the bridge is all the way over there. It's pretty decently far. So what you need to understand is when you play like that, you guys need to be very vigilant. You need to have very good comms, and you need to have a plan if anything goes south. For example, if a team's landing at Frenzy and they decide to push you, you guys should have a plan of what to do in that situation for the person at the bridge. In most cases, all I'd recommend is just try to grab a car and then rotate over to anybody near this area in the actual POI, such as the gas station or the military base. And then you guys can easily loot up. There's plenty of loot for you guys in this small area itself as well. And understand that in trios, you guys are going to need a really good plan for rotating and making sure that one of your teammates doesn't get eliminated. Vice versa, if there's no car at the bridge for some reason, you guys can easily hop into one of these cars, easily rotate out of the way, and then go pick up your friend at the bridge. I'm going to take you over the bridge right now to explain exactly what's there. But the reason this drop spot is called the Cami split is it was popularized by Cami, Seti, and Teak back in the trios era of Chapter 2. This is the drop spot in the area in the map that they like to land at. So because of that, that's why this is called the Cami split. Once again, definitely would recommend it to you guys who want to land a solid POI that has tons of loot over a large expansive land. If you learn how to play this POI correctly, you can get a lot of map control as well, so that's a crucial aspect to think about. But overall, the canopy split's great, and I would definitely recommend it to all of you guys. And of course, guys, you know the way I like to end off these videos. I like to go over named POI, and in today's video, it's going to be Craggy Cliffs. In terms of the ratio of how many people actually land here, and how many people are able to actually learn how to master this POI and win it off spawn, I just believe that Craggy Cliffs is a very well-rounded place for a lot of trios to land. Of course, you guys are most likely going to be contested, so what I'd recommend, land on the same house. That is a crucial tip. You guys can all normally get kitted from these houses. They have enough loot for you to do so. And then when you guys are attacking, make sure that you guys attack as a complete team. Don't get separated, don't get split apart. That's how you're going to get eliminated. So of course, what I'd recommend you guys try to do is, if you can, land at the main building. If you can alpha up that main building, you're going to be getting the most amount of loot. You're going to be set. There's some slurp barrels in there as well. However, if you can't do that, look for the second biggest building, then the third biggest building. Just try to land at the biggest building you can uncontested, and then fight the other teams that are contesting you at the POI overall. In general, what that will do is it will give you a far better chance of making it off spawn than if you guys were to land split apart, not near each other. You guys would most likely get picked off one by one, and then get eliminated by teams who are landing together. This place is great though. It has so many slurp barrels, so many chests, of course. The only problem, it is a little bit far from the center map. However, in the river nearby right there's going to be a boat that you guys can easily use. That's a big benefit, of course. So rotation isn't really too difficult from this POI. It's actually a direct shot to risky reels and the dog pound if you guys want to rotate there. So of course, I'd recommend you land here for trios, because it, in my opinion, is one of the best named POIs for trios of all time. And as a matter of fact, I actually did land here for the Chapter 2 Season 8 FNCS for trios, and for the Grand Royale, if you guys remember that as well. I landed at Craggy Cliffs with my trio. We actually didn't do too well because we were pretty bad back then. However, I'm really excited that it's back, and I think a bunch of trios would benefit from landing at this POI overall. But guys, that is the video on the top 5 best trio drop spots. Let me know what other Chapter 2 videos you want to see. Maybe it can be informational guides. Maybe it can just be competitive guides. Maybe it just can be fun videos. You guys just need to let me know what you want to see. I'll be sure to try and make it. But that is about it for this video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.